pay our respects. It's been the passing of another great legend.
Buy one, get one half off. On anything?
Yeah, buy a pair of mules, get loafers half price. Buy
Food.
From director Ron Howard and producer Brian Grazer,
Who among you will be the next Einstein?
Academy Award winner Russell Crowe,
What can I do for the Department of Defense?
in a story about the mystery,
Talk to me. Tell me what happened.
the power,
You can't reason your way out of it.
and the triumph
I can do this.
of one man's mind.
Something extraordinary is possible.
A Beautiful Mind. Rated PG-13 at select theaters Friday, December 21st.
This is Daryl. Daryl works at a major film studio.
Or death.
Idea of, well, all things must pass is a very philosophical thing, you know. Sunrise doesn't last all morning, and, you know, a cloudburst doesn't last all day, and a sunset doesn't last all evening.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Rankin, and this is a VH1 News special remembering George Harrison. That was the man himself talking about his song, All Things Must Pass. Although it was written about the breakup of the Beatles, it's sadly quite a prophetic statement. Harrison passed away Thursday after a long bout with cancer. In the 80s, George Harrison took some time off to concentrate on other interests and then returned to music with his album Cloud 9. It was considered a major comeback. John Lennon's murder in 1980 forced George to examine his own fame and mortality. And for a few years afterwards, he withdrew from the musical spotlight in favor of racing cars and making movies. His production company, Handmade Films, had produced such avant-garde hits as Monty Python's Life of Brian, and the occasional mainstream flop like Shanghai Surprise.
It was the first time we ever had any dealings with sort of Hollywood kind of mentality, and it was the only film out of, say, 15 movies we've made that wasn't enjoyable. Although I had a laugh, personally. You know, I didn't mind.
Miss Tetlock, I think we've found our man.
In 1987, George began recording his first new album in 5 years at his home studio outside of London. The result was Cloud 9, an upbeat pop album that was a departure from his more spiritual 70s persona. The single, Got My Mind Set on You, topped the U.S. charts.
It was an old song from about 1959, but it was an excellent song, but the old version that I heard of it was, you know, it's a bit antique, and it doesn't really sound like my version of it, but the song itself had stuck in my head for 20-odd years, and it just came out on this album.
Another single, When We Was Fab, looked back fondly on the Beatle years. He wasn't the only one. In 1988, George and Ringo accepted the Beatles' induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Paul was conspicuously absent.
Thank you very much. I don't have to say much because I'm the quiet Beatle. It is unfortunate Paul's not here because he was the one who had the speech in his pocket. John can't be here, and I'm sure he would be, and it's hard really to stand here supposedly representing the Beatles. It's what's left, I'm afraid. But we all loved him so much, and we all love Paul very much.
Hot on the heels of Cloud 9, George formed the Traveling Wilburys, an impromptu supergroup with Bob Dylan, Tom Petty, Jeff Lynne, and Roy Orbison. The album was a hit, and George said of the experience, it beats being a Beatle. By 1991, George continued putting old demons to rest, stepping out to headline his first tour in nearly 2 decades. Backed by Eric Clapton, the tour of Japan included a set peppered with Beatle classics. Beatle fans witnessed the closest thing to a full-fledged reunion in 1995. To commemorate the release of the Beatles anthology series, Paul, Ringo, and George completed 2 unfinished Lennon demos and released Real Love and Free as a Bird, the first new Beatles songs in a quarter century.
Enough time had gone between 1969 and now. The kind of the Beatles had gone away and we'd all had enough time to breathe, and I think it's much easier to look at it now from a distance.
In the years following the release of Anthology, George enjoyed a mostly quiet life, planting trees on his estate and producing music for friends like Ravi Shankar. For a little while, he was a man at peace.
I just get diverted. I turn into a gardener, and I forget all about showbiz, that I ever was in it, or that occasionally I write a tune, but more often I plant trees.
Earlier this year, George Harrison reissued his classic album, All Things Must Pass, which featured a new version of My Sweet Lord. One of his final recordings, A Horse to Water, will appear on an upcoming album by former Squeeze keyboardist Jules Holland. Harrison co-wrote this song with his son, Donnie. We'll all remember George